Hey guys, welcome to Lorcana Lounge. My name is Asker and this is another episode of Market Watch. It's actually episode number 10 and I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Today is the last Market Watch video of October. So on Friday, I'm gonna do a monthly recap of all the price changes and there's gonna be some different cards than in the week to weeks because there's just been moving from the start of the month and just steadily until the end of the month. So I'm gonna talk about a lot of cards, especially enchanted cards. So I hope you guys will stay tuned to that. But today we're gonna talk about from the 21st of October to today, the 28th. And we have seen some price reductions and some price increases. And the first card is gonna be the Rapunzel. Um, and that has been going up by almost 10%. We're seeing a spike in that card, and we've actually seen some interesting things with the first chapter booster box prices going up. You can see some changes, and this is all first chapter cards, and which is kind of interesting because the whole new world has actually been going down a whole lot. It's almost 16% down in the last week, and Ariel has been going down 11%. I believe it's the second week that Ariel is joining this episode, or this, yeah, on the Market Watch. But today we're going to start with Rapunzel. It's a nice card that I do not see. Of course, they fluctuate a little bit, but I do not see that one going down in price anytime soon. Of course, it's gonna, yeah, like I said, fluctuate a little bit, but it's just a popular card. Some other cards has been going up and down, but I also think with the current state of the first chapter booster box, price reduction since first chapter is probably gonna be a little bit more rare. I believe Ariel and Whole New World has just been so popular to play with. So now maybe it's not that popular. Now there's no championships. So demand is probably also down a little bit. But it is interesting to see those two going down because they are really, really popular cards. And Rapunzel, I do think that's gonna go up in price. So if you have one, I would not recommend selling it right now. I do believe with the current state of first chapter, like I said, it's gonna something's gonna happen to the card market. But I'm gonna get back to that one because in the end of the episode we're gonna talk about the booster box. For now, we're gonna talk about Rise of the Floodborn. The booster box is not included in this episode because that has not moved a lot. I think it's maybe down 1%, something like that. It's really nothing. But as you can see, we have Mufasa. We unfortunately have Madame Mim Fox again. And we have Beast, Tragic Hero. Mufasa has been going down a little bit, almost 10%. Still a pretty valuable card. Definitely the most valuable card in Rise of the Floodborn. If you're not looking at enchanted cards. I do think the most interesting thing here is not the Madame Mim Fox because that has just been going down for a while. It was at like $8-9, now at 3.8. That is, I don't think people play it as much anymore, so that's probably just why. And I think it's actually gonna go further down, unfortunately. Beast, however, I think that is interesting. That has been really, really valued, that card, and really, really popular. So I think it's interesting that that has gone down to $10. And just to put it in perspective, a Whole New World is actually more expensive than Beast Tragic Hero now. That is quite the fall off. I don't know if it's actually gonna go up again. I think it's really interesting to see just him not being that popular anymore. But I think if we ever get a deck, and I do believe we are going to get a deck that matches his abilities, and then his price is probably gonna go up again. It is a popular card. but very interesting to see, especially the Beast and Mufasa going down. Just first chapter actually really going down this week. It's really been quite surprising because I do expect it to become a more popular collectible. First, Rise of the Floodborn, and then the cards are gonna follow, hopefully, but not a good week. Not a good week. Rise of the Floodborn had these two cards jump the most: Piglet and Baloo. But as you can see, Baloo, it's the price. It's so low that even 0.114 is gonna make it fall down by 9%. So it's probably just gonna rise again. The Piglet, however, becomes more and more popular. I do believe that we're probably gonna reach a limit soon, because I have seen some cards from the new set that probably could challenge Piglet a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna go out of style, but there are some. It is a popular ability that Piglet has, the I am the captain. Yeah, that is a really good ability. If you have two or more characters in play, this character gets 2 extra lure, which is a crazy good ability. But at the same time, I would say that I've seen some other cards going in, and I think the prices are gonna change when the new set arrives. And I am gonna do an episode where I talk about all the new cards and talk about their abilities and stuff. So, but probably gonna do that next week. So we just have a little before the set releases shenanigan. But I do think $5 is probably. I don't see it go further up. I actually see it maybe decreasing a little bit again soon. But nice to see a little rise in almost 12%. I have 4 of them, so it's always good to see a rise in price. Tebow from Shimmering Skies. I just had to include him. As you can see, the price is so low that 35%. It's outrageous that it can go up that much. But I think it's an interesting card. I have seen people like hating the card. I've seen people being like, yeah, it's not that good. And I see people being, at some point at least, kind of almost, completely crazy about it. The ability is when you play this character, you may put a card from your hand into your inkwell and exert it. And that is really, really interesting. Because there are some cards that really focus on getting cards into your inkwell. And that is quite interesting. That and I do believe that he could rise even more in value and maybe become a $2 card, $3 card. I don't know. I think the potential of this card is there, definitely. But it's gonna be interesting to see. I just like the card. I like the character. So that's why I had to include it as well. Yeah. The last thing we're gonna talk about is the first chapter booster box. As you have probably noticed, the last couple of episodes, we talked a lot about the first chapter booster box. It's gone up almost 10% again this week, which is insane. If you want to see a video where I talk about sealed product, I do have that, so you can check it out and what's best to invest in. Well, what I believe is best to invest in, and I do believe that we're reaching the top of what has ever been price wise. And I think the interesting thing here is that I've seen a lot of people writing on Facebook and other places like, "Can I please buy first chapters? Does anybody have one?" So the demand is definitely there, and it's just the boxes, they're just gone. So I think that's really, really interesting to see that finally we're reaching that point where there's no extra boxes going into the market or anything. So that is really nice to see. And I do believe that this is going to be a really interesting time for Lorcana, because now you can't just buy it in a store at normal prices. Now you have to go out and pay overprice, not overpriced, but for a lot of money to buy first chapter booster box, and I think that's gonna do something to the market. And I do believe we are gonna see a, what should we call it, a reaction. We haven't seen it yet, which I think is quite interesting. But some of the enchanted cards hasn't moved that much. I'm gonna go through them on Friday, how they're moving in the last month. But I think it's interesting to see that it's now almost a $300 box, and we have seen no like big price increase with any of the enchanted cards from first chapter. But I do believe it's happening, and I think it's gonna be sooner rather than later. I'm not saying it's gonna happen this week, next week. I'm just saying that I do believe something's gonna happen real soon, and I do believe that some of the enchanted cards are gonna go bonkers, maybe back to an all-time high as well. I believe it's happening sooner rather than later. I think it's just when the boxes go up, the cards go up, and we just haven't seen the cards going up that much yet as a reaction to the first chapter booster boxes. But maybe people just have to, as you can see, there's a whole lot of increase still. So maybe when that flattens out, we can expect enchanted cards, people being like, okay, now it's just outrageous prices with first chapter booster box. Now I'll just go and buy the enchanted cards because now I need them. I think it's going to be really interesting for the market, because this is actually what I've been waiting for a little bit. The distance between when it was released and we started with Lorcana to that point where you can't just buy it in store every product. Now you have to go out and pay a lot of money to get the first chapter. I think that's going to be really interesting. But again, on Friday, I'm going to have another episode where I talk about the enchanted cards and the market and what I do believe is going to happen. And just in generally, the episode on Friday is going to be market watch for the last month. So, but also some speculation stuff. If there's anything you want to see in the market watch videos, just let me know. Just write in a comment and I'll gladly include it. And again, thank you for watching yet another video. And I hope you guys will maybe even go like the video, maybe even subscribe if you like the content. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.